Hey guys, so I know weird angle, but I'm actually sitting in my car right now waiting for somebody. So while I was doing that, I figured why not let's take a look back at Late Night with the Devil. I saw this one about 3 days ago. It was a toss up between this and Immaculate, and I was like, it's no choice honestly because Immaculate. I haven't seen Immaculate yet. I plan on watching that today, but I think I pretty much figure I'm gonna come out of that with a 6 out of 10 in my mind. I think I it looks a bit predictable to me. That said, hopefully it surprises me. But this was a movie that I could not tell where they were going with it, and I was super excited, not just because of who the lead was in this, but the whole look of it, that whole 70s aesthetic. So let's get into Late Night with the Devil. And this one, it follows a man named Jack. Jack is a late night host like, in the 70s, in that era when that was a big thing, I guess. And his star is on the rise. He is poised to beat Johnny Carson as the best talk show host out there. But then his wife gets sick and she dies. And he of course, he gets depressed. He leaves for a while. He comes back. He's still loved by the people, but he's nowhere near where he used to be. Sweep week comes around. This is a time when networks would vie for their shows that night to have like the highest ratings, because the one with the highest rated show, they could then sell their airtime to advertisers. I think that's what it was. Anyway, it falls on Halloween. So they decide what they're gonna do is they're gonna make it a whole thing. They're gonna do a whole theme around, scary stuff. They invite a medium who may or may not be for real. They invite a magician, and they invite a parapsychologist who is taking care of this girl who's also her patient, who is also the survivor, the lone survivor of a cult. And she claims that she's possessed by the devil. So Jack wants to do what nobody else has done before and interview the devil. And this movie, first of all, I'll say that I went into this super excited because I feel like this year we haven't really had any really, really good horror thus far. We're not that far into the year, granted, but it does feel like it's been a desert, so to speak, for horror fans. I've been just rewatching old stuff. So this looked different and awesome, and I really wanted to see it. And for the most part, I thoroughly enjoyed this. Let me get into my likes first, and very quickly. Visually, this movie looks amazing. That 70s aesthetic is there in even the fonts, the coloration, the costumes, of course. I do feel like that stuff worked really, really well. The sound design and all of that. Everything is very 70s. They pick a good era for it. 77 was a messed up year, serial killers abound and that sort of thing. 77 was, a very dark time for America. So this fits in well there. And the story itself, it doesn't feel predictable. You don't really know where it's gonna go, and there's a sense of dread from the very beginning. So all of that, the lead, Dalmatian, I can never pronounce this poor man's name. Everybody will recognize him as Polka Dot Man from the Suicide Squad. Always a fun actor to watch, even in movies that are not as great as The Last Voyages of the Demeter. I always like this guy, so he worked for me. So yeah, all of that worked for me. Where this movie fell a bit for me, I felt like, for one, I felt like they didn't go far enough with everything that was going on. I felt like when it came to that finale, that final act, I thought this movie was gonna go like Scanners, brain exploding, just mayhem in that studio. And there is that to a degree, but the payoff just didn't feel like it was as big as I was expecting. Maybe I built up the movie too much in my head. You know, I do love the ambiguity of the ending, that whole thing with the hypnosis, and now we're wondering what was real and what wasn't real. And oh my God, I love it when a movie mind screws you like that. But I just wish it went further with things. You know, there's a bit of this restrained feeling while I'm watching this, and I feel like they should have this kind of maybe swung for the fences and missed. You know, I don't think they didn't, but I just felt like they capped it off a little too early. You know, maybe it's because I'm all about the blood and the gore and the horror of everything. I love the practical effects. That stuff looked great. Another aspect where I would have preferred they didn't is the opening exposition. There's a twist in this movie in the end, and I feel like if that wasn't there, more people, including myself, probably would not have seen twist coming in the end. It gives away so much. You know, it reveals too much about Jack, and I feel like most people would put two and two together about what Jack may have done to lead up to what is happening to him. So there's some missteps there, but overall, Late Night with the Devil is a solid movie. It gets points for originality, points for cinematography. I love the fact that they use mostly unknown actors, at least unknown to me, with the exception of the lead. I didn't recognize most of these people, so I could get absorbed in their characters a lot more. There is this sense of dread all through this movie, but it does play it safe in my opinion. I wanted things to be a little more crazy. I wanted that over the top horror that you got in those old 70s and 80s horror movies. And I felt like here they kind of seem like they pulled the reins back right at the final, at the final second. So I went into this kind of hoping for a home run, and what I get was basically a 7.5 out of 10. But I need to watch it again and really absorb it. You know, this is only me watch after one watch. But do I say watch it? Absolutely, check this one out for reals. No hesitation there. Go check it out in cinemas. But yeah, it's not a complete winner for me.